Good morning, folks. Welcome to another episode of Something More Than Gibberish. This is episode 77. We're getting there. August is coming up to 3 years, so another couple of shows and it'll be 3 year celebration. Um, today I've got the pleasure of featuring Ash, or better known as the nature underscore of Ash. Um, Ash is a amazing writer, and I'm sure most of you have come across her work on Instagram. She posts regularly, appears on live shows, either to send through DMs or get up and read. Plus, she hosts her own show as well. Um, she's got a wide genre of work that she writes on, and they're all very, very powerful. So, really looking forward to discussion and hearing Ash's work and what drives her and so forth. Now, Ash is in the room, so Ash, as soon as you've got put in a request, I'll drag you up. Oh, here you are. I'm going to bring you up right now. Great. I'm bringing Ash up right now.
It works. I'm
Hello,
up.
Ash. Welcome. Welcome.
How are you tonight?
I'm very good. Very good. Been a challenging week, but nevertheless, here we are. Absolute
Yes.
pleasure to have you on the show, Ash.
Great to be here. And correction, better known as Ash. People will know Ash before they know the nature of Ash. Even the people I talk to, they don't even call me by name. They just call me Ash.
All right.
A few call me Mel, but most call me Ash.
Yeah. Well,
Mommy.
welcome, Ash, and it really is a pleasure. It's been a long time coming, um, and I'm glad you could make it. Now, I was reading your bio, and I found it so interesting how you started your journey into writing. I think you got to tell the audience that.
I just started rhyming words because it made people laugh. I would take stories I saw in school, the simple reading books. And one of the first ones I ever shared with a teacher, I was reprimanded quite harshly for. The story that I read had the word and in it probably 5, 10 times. And I don't even remember much about the story. It was something about a guy with an axe, which what was that doing in a second grader's reading room? I don't know, but it was a child's story. It was a man with an axe, and he was cold, and he was wet, and he was hungry, and it was and I thought it was funny, so I made a poem out of it, and I used and over and over. And she was not happy with that at all because there should have been commas, and I should know better by now. But yeah, I just started rhyming everything I found and rewriting nursery rhymes, and yeah, everybody thought it was funny, and well, who doesn't like to make somebody laugh? So
Exactly,
kept
and
doing
you were before, this was before second grade too, right? So I can
it. This
see
was the
how the
second
young Ash was, you
one.
know, that you could be an entertainer, making people smile, and that's never a sad thing, right? Putting a smile on people's faces. So,
I was a rebel. I think the first thing I ever got in trouble for might have been kindergarten for coloring a little chick instead of yellow like we were supposed to. I colored it blue, and it caused problems. I was
sounds
always
like you were a rebel child there, Ash.
Yes, from the very beginning, whatever I could get my hands on, I found a new use for it. Yeah, flour, sugar. I think I coated all my stuffed animals with water, flour, and sugar once, just because it was interesting. It's just, yeah. So when I discovered words and what I could do with words, and yeah, I just couldn't stop myself. I still can't stop myself. I still don't know when to stop talking.
Well, I think as a writer, I think it's good to have that rebel streak in a sense that you can challenge the status quo of the norm, right? And as writers,
Right.
I think we need to, and I think that's great that you do. And your work speaks for itself the way you do. The do you What drives you now, the adult Ash, in terms of topics or genres that you write on and so forth?
Well, I have to admit, the last 2 years, with the political climate shifting the way that it has, the when you're so many thousands of miles away from putting your hands on anyone to help, sometimes, the useless and helpless feeling, all you have is words.
Mm.
And so a lot of my pieces of the last couple of years, I've, taken from, or not taken from, but inspired by stories, both global and local. Um, yeah, just because I can't help. And so to be able to process it for my own peace of mind, I think I have to write about it.
Yeah, and there's the key, right? So we write often for our own peace of mind and our own releasing, but we don't we that when we publish it, even on live streams or social media, it has a long, far reach, and you don't know who that touches and who else that can help, who doesn't have the gift of being able to uh, contrive their emotions, their feelings into words. But
Right.
reading your work can help them to get things into perspective as well, right? Or to trigger off their own thoughts.
I almost feel like that's a poet's job.
Yep.
um, Especially if you have a vocabulary and you have a way of being able to explain things how you feel. There's how many people on this globe now? 7 billion, something like that.
Close to 8 billion, yeah.
Yeah. So every situation you go through is not unique. We're
No.
not that special. So if you're going through it and you can write it in a way that someone else can relate to, maybe 4 or 5 words strung together might help their perspective. Because all we see is what, 2% of the reality in front of us. Those
Mhm.
are really, really small slices, but
Yes.
they overlap in such a way that can be so profound.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah, 100%. Couldn't agree more. And of that 8 billion, there are so many at a young age that don't have anyone to turn to. The
Right.
very reason I do this show is that through the discussions that we have, through the poetry that's recited and expounded on, one sentence, one word, one conversation could be all that somebody needs to be able to pull them back from the edge of that cliff,
Right.
right? When they're in a
And I
dark
agree
place.
with what Valerie says, and she's echoing what you're saying. That chain, that domino effect that we can have on one another, which supersedes our arm length.
Yeah, yeah. 100% Valerie, couldn't agree more. I mean, in August, so in a couple of shows, the next show would bring me to 3 years of doing this show. And number one, it's a pleasure to be able to showcase personas like yourself in the writing world. But the secondary thing is, if it turns back, saves one person's life from a dark place, then it's been worth my efforts in continuing on with this show. You
Right,
know,
absolutely. And I know some dark places, and anybody who's followed me recently knows that my work has been a little bit on the edge, because I experienced some of those dark moments myself. Well, I'd like to say I had to pull myself back from, but I won't lie, I've had a village. I'm very fortunate to have such a strong support system who said,
that
"Hey,
is,
you're not right. Something's off, buddy. Something is off with you. We need help. We need help more than
yeah,
our little circle." And yeah, yeah. And so in that journey, I can't help but to express the fact that asking for help is uncomfortable. Uncomfortable things we don't talk about. Things we don't talk about keep it uncomfortable. So we have to normalize the need to reach out to one another. We have to normalize going beyond perhaps our friendship circle into the professional realm and, checking yourself in. I won't lie, I've recently done a week in two different places because I was beyond what my friends could rein back in.
Mm.
And we that can't be taboo because when discussions like that are taboo, people die.
100%. 100%. That's number one. I'm sorry that you had to go through that, but more importantly, I'm glad that you did. And you saying it out loud can, there's a so right now, um, all kinds of depressions and so forth are rampant and it's on a global level.
Yes.
So that very statement that you just made could give somebody that push, that nudge to actually reach out for help, and that there is no embarrassment. There isn't. Grown men cry, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Being a nurse and going into a facility and being asked, "What do you do?" You know, what kind of nursing have you done? You know, saying that I spent my first 5 years in healthcare at in a hospital, working on the behavioral health floor, working on the psych floor. Oh man, talk about putting your pride through a workout.
Mm, mm.
But, you know, once again, if you need to get medicine, you got to go to the doctor, you got to go to the pharmacy, you got to take that pill, you got to take that first step. And if you don't take that first step, you're not going to get what you need.
100%,
Yeah.
100%. And there's no shame in it. I myself, just this week, the last 2 weeks gone, I lost a family member and I lost the mother of a close friend that I play golf with every week. Um, And at my family's funeral, I mean, the tears just flowed so readily. It was my brother-in-law. 3 weeks ago, I was at another funeral of another for 10 years, I've been playing golf with him. 39 years old, died with a brain cancer. He's left behind a 2 and a 5-year-old
Mm.
sons, and now his wife's got a journey ahead of her, bringing up 2 young sons. And 39, I mean, that's just starting life, you know. But
Yeah.
for various reasons, and seeing all my nieces and my nephews and my great grandnieces and nephews, my grandnieces and nephews, all with their hearts breaking, and you couldn't to know that all you can be there is and hold them, but you can't walk through the fire with them for them. It's the pain that they have to experience, and on my old shoulders, I've worn many scars, but standing there watching them and just holding them and letting their grief flow, it drained me. Yesterday, on Thursday night, my Thursday, which has been your Wednesday, I got home and I was so drained, just emotionally drained. I had no energy left.
Yeah, that leaves a person exhausted. It
Yeah.
really
Thank you,
is
Valerie.
so difficult.
But
Sorry to hear that.
But here we are. We keep going, right? And I think if we can put into words how one can harness that grief, harness those depressive moments, and mitigate those one step at a time, you know.
Right, right.
Yeah. So and right now, I know even, and I'm fortunate to be in a country where we've had a fairly good standard of living, but even here we feel that, I can see the people feeling the um, economic sort of grief, where they go to the supermarket and suddenly their bill is twice as much, right? And
Yes,
salaries aren't,
same.
you know. So I can imagine we're one of the fortunate nations, and then I look at so many other nations, and that, for a parent to the stress they go through of how do I put food in my kids'
Right.
stomachs? How do I keep a roof on their head? How do I educate them? How do I keep the wheels flowing when you can only stretch a salary so far? And
I don't
so
know
many
how people
people
do it.
jumping off bridges for that.
Yeah, yeah. I have a neighbor who's got 5 children, and recently she was like, "Hey, why don't you go to the food pantry with me?" And I looked at what I had and said, "Okay, let's
Yeah,
let me go. I'll help you carry things."
yeah,
And I don't know how she does it as single mother of five. Yeah, and three of those are teenagers, and they eat constantly,
yeah.
constant.
Mm,
It's
mm,
amazing
yeah,
the will of people to keep going, and
yeah.
that's why we keep going because we all keep going together.
I've Over the years, I've even come across some of your pieces which were influenced by your experience in the medical field as well.
Yeah,
I think it's great that you can write on such a diverse sort of range of issues as well, and particularly in the medical field, what you see in the medical, in your profession in the medical field, um, I think, yeah, that's such a small slice of people. I mean, the medical industry is huge, but when you look at the small percentage of the population that works in the medical field, and then you look at how many of those can write or take the time to write, it's a very small slice. So
it is.
there's a
And there are
uniqueness
some
to your
very
work there in that
talented,
space.
there are some very talented nurses and doctors that I know on Instagram that I'm just constantly blown away by. Thought School Therapy, Faiza.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
she's a physician there in Australia,
mm,
and she writes some incredible pieces, and it actually does some lives talking about, or not lives, but reels talking about her different workshops that she has. And she talks about, having a family and dealing with it, and normalizing dealing with mental illness. It's just amazing what different people draw from.
Do
There's a
you
list in my head, and I just can't spit it out. But yeah, there's a lot of people.
do you know her handle of heart by chance?
Yeah, it's Thoughts Pool Therapy.
Thoughtful therapy, yeah. Right.
Thoughts Pool. You know what? I will tag her because I think I can, just because I think I can do something.
Yeah.
I am learning. So having a stroke teaches you that your brain does so much more than you realize. There we go, Thought School Therapy. Um, my thinking. I am so fortunate. I am so fortunate. It was in the parietal lobe, which does not dictate your balance. I have a little bit of right-sided droopiness, a little right-sided weakness, but I can ambulate. I can walk a mile if I need to. My speech isn't slurred, it's pressured when I'm tired, but you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know just having a
Mm.
conversation with me. I'm so lucky. But I do the dumbest things now. I have 3 times since I got out of the hospital put a full bottle of water with no lid on it in the freezer. Because I want cold water, and I know that's how I get cold water, and I do it all the time. But I usually put the cap back on. I
Yeah.
haven't been doing that. Um, so I have gotten a lot of help. I don't think she's here yet, but and Giggles, Rhonda, and her wife Stephanie have helped me emailing back and forth some of my pieces so I can print them off on paper large enough for me to see in case my vision goes blurry during this. And I tell you, I have spent so much money that I did not have at the library trying to print these things off, even got more money from somebody else trying to print things off because I just can't organize things. So I've got pieces of paper that have like 3 or 4 words that say edit number 1, rewritten for spoken. And I'm like, why is this? I have 20 pieces of paper and 3 things I can read. It's been a journey. My goodness. Oh,
Ash,
Coughlin Family Poetry. There we go. Let's say sponsored by Coughlin Family. They've been helping me so much. They're letting me rehearse things, making sure fonts are big enough. It's Rainier, it's been funny. It's yeah, I have to laugh. I have to laugh. If I don't laugh, I might cry. And we've all had enough of that, right?
that's look, it's your feature. You can take it, go wherever you like with this.
It's my
As I
feature.
said,
Try if
I'm
I want
just
to. Don't make me start singing.
I'm just the vessel that facilitates the show. It's all about featuring you and all about you. And uh, heartfelt thank you to the Coughlin family for being there for you. And I'm sorry you had to go through all that, Ash. And also my sincere appreciation for having all that to still go ahead with the feature as well. You know, your health is first, but I'm honoured that you still wanted to go ahead with it. And
Well, I've seen so
yeah.
many shows. I really wanted to be part of this, and I have promised numerous people that if at any point in time I start feeling tired or exhausted, and things get blurry, or I notice my speech, Rhonda knows if she notices my speech going funny, then we'll just cut it and call it a day.
100% Ash. Normally we go for 2 hours, but whenever you're feeling uncomfortable, we can cut it. And as I say to all my guests, this is only the first time. It's not the last time. We can do a take two when you're right. So please do not feel pressured to, that we've got to go. Your health is paramount, and when you feel the tiredness or anything untoward happening, please let me know and we can politely close it off. So
Absolutely.
that
And then
said,
that perspective change because my phone gets hot. So from time to time, my phone will get some care and be placed on an ice pack.
sure.
So we're all receiving a little care tonight.
So did you want to share some pieces and we can talk about those while we're
Yeah, you
going?
need some poetry, dude. Absolutely. Let's see if I can start out with something that's printed so I'm not struggling. My kitchen is such a mess. I've been just like flinging pieces of paper. Rhonda, later I'll show you. I've probably got like 30 pieces of paper just strewn across the place. I hope nobody comes over. No, I hope somebody comes over just so I can tell them what I've been doing. And of course, I'm trying to looking for things that have to be read fast. So tonight, actually, I'm going to be slowing things down quite a bit and probably reading more. Um, I don't want to call it classical style poetry, but I don't know another word way to put it because a lot of the things I write are meant to be read aloud. But tonight I'm probably going to read more pieces that are more readable in that fashion. If that makes any sense to you.
Yes, yes, it does. Yes.
Okay. I'm going to start with this is titled "The Blessings of Night." Now, where does it start? Where does it end? Ah, there we go. See, like this first one, I've had to make adjustments and just fold it over like numbered pieces. This in itself, just the preparation, has been such a great experience and so good for my brain. So let me thank you. You're giving some therapy and you didn't even know it.
Glad to help.
It's an all faceted show this evening. All right, this is called The Blessings of Night. The blessing of night falls again, soft and dark upon pale skin. Valley fog envelops all in the wild with its darkness. Both cool and mild I am moved. I am haunted. By these primordial winds I am removed. Relentless and low, ethereal melodies guide along the cool. Sharpened by the edge of consciousness, confusion is found profound and forestly fundamental. Blackness is surroundingly euphoric and most mystical. Ubiquity beyond both hands of an enigmatic presence delights. Oh, against delicate web of every shadow slights, with a welcome suffocation, this heart beats faster, heavy bandmaster, past disaster, faded facade plaster, past the pasture where they attacked her, and found said captor, writing down the matter of the next chapter, dictating evangelical pastor, theoretical the reason they snatched her, feigning poetical, politically clerical, clouds coveting spherical, the cutting, ecumenical, Glaring intense campus marches, sun paths, wars, and wrecks, every molecular wave past this, balanced on long, thin necks, eyes strained, swaying heliotaxis. Greedily, dawn draws moist breath, sucked from lungs, deep knocking heaves in a chest which succumbs to a quiver, then to rest. Requiem rays shimmer when requested. I will surrender gladly to death, sans whimper. The dimming spark, wakened, stirring to a cry, released across the water, echoing the meadowlark.
Whew. The the cadence of that, you're right, that is a piece definitely to be read as a spoken word piece. The rhythm and the cadence of that was phenomenal. And there was a line there, sharpened by the edge of consciousness. Oh my goodness, what a line, right? What a line, right?
If you've ever been in and out,
Yeah,
it's funny how your eye changes, how your ear changes, how sound tastes different.
yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's all I'm going to say about that.
And your recital, the cadence, you didn't miss a beat at all. That was just perfect. That was beautiful, and it was written so well for a spoken word piece. Um, the rhythm just flowed
Thank
so
you.
well, and I think there'll be quite a bit that one can digest in so many of those individual lines. That line that grabbed me, that sharpened by the edge of consciousness. I mean, that is a thing that I could reflect on. That one line I could reflect on for hours. Because yes, you got somebody who's say got a depression or something like that, to hold that focus, to that concentration where when you got 100 thoughts coming in your head,
Right?
or somebody going through a loss, or somebody anything, let alone somebody with a medical sort of health problem as well, be it a stroke or whatever as well. That is such a powerful line. It really is.
It's interesting to watch a patient go through this. Say, in the case of extremely high or low blood sugar, to
Yes.
watch that glazed over moment, that confused moment, and then you see their pupils right again and their focus looking at objects in the room, hearing voices, tracking correctly. It's a hell of a thing to watch. It
Mm,
really is.
mm,
Same with
mm,
after performing CPR. Once the person gets over the shock of what's going on, once they start taking in their surroundings again,
mm.
it's the body is so amazing.
Yeah.
The body is so amazing.
Like, I've never suffered anything like that, but start of the year I had an experience where I was traveling to Nigeria, so I had like a dozen vaccines to get so that I could come back into Australia. One of them was the yellow fever vaccine, and there was a 1 in 400 million chance of a reaction to the yellow fever vaccine.
How
And I was
special are you?
I was that 1 in 400 million. So because it's a live vaccine, it takes about 7 or 8 days to incubate. So I'd got the vaccine and I was at the gym and life was sweet. About the seventh night, I went to bed perfectly normal, and then I get a phone call on the eighth morning from work. They go, "What's happened to you? Where are you?" And I knew what I was conscious of my surroundings. I knew what the person was asking of me. I was fully aware, I could recognize, but I could not articulate my words to respond other than a simple yes or no. Everybody, the ambulance drivers, the hospital, they did EEGs, they did MRIs, they did CT scans, everything all came back clear. But all the symptoms, the doctors were telling me you've had a minor stroke, right?
Right.
But everything came back clear. Finally, I was discharged because within 48 hours I was fine. You wouldn't think anything was wrong with me. But I know what that felt like, and it was so frustrating because I want to answer you. I know my answer in my head, but I could
Uh-huh.
not articulate the words. It just touched that small part of the
How
brain
many
that
feelings?
regulates your speech. Um, and I felt so helpless. I was frustrated. I was angry. My family, my son was had thought that I'd had a stroke. The old man's gone, yeah. And then 48 hours later, I'm back to my usual self. And my work did not even believe me. They thought I was trying to kill myself, thinking I was after a stroke coming back to work in 2 days. And they literally wanted a letter from the hospital to say, no, this guy is not insane. He's perfectly fine. Because they were so concerned about that I'm a driven man and
Right. Now he's overexerting.
so I can imagine what it feels like for somebody who has had a stroke or
Little
any
tiny
sort of like
pathways.
that. Like, oh my goodness, just 48 hours just, yeah, destroyed me. But
It's,
here we are.
well, I'm glad you recovered fully from that.
Oh, I was never
And you're
looked
back
back.
to the
Never
computer.
looked back. They they had speech therapists, they had everything, they had all these appointments with all these other neuro specialists and all for appointments and all. And when they spoke together, no, I don't think we need to see you. You seem perfectly fine. Uh,
Right.
but yeah, so there you go. Um, what's next, Ash?
I'm going to change it up a little bit. And this is called Braided Love. And you know what? This is from a prompt, and I told myself that I would try to tag prompters if I can. If I can't, I will let it go. Behind her. You know what? She has changed. She has changed her handle. So, uh, there we go. Love with Alyssa. Yeah, if I can, I will. If I can't, I won't. If I forget, well, it won't happen either way. So, but this is called Braided Love. Gifted to me, a lover's ring, braided rose gold dreams of grenadine and tequila. I can't say it. What's I can't say the word. It's a drink. It's a it's a liquor.
Tequila. Tequila.
Tequila. Oh man, that's great. Gifted to me, a lover's ring, braided rose gold dreams of grenadine and tequila. I'm just not going to read this one. It's dead in the water. Luckily, I've got a whole stack. Tequila, which is great because one of the lines is a broken spleen will kill you. All right, I'm going to let that one go again, too. And I'm going to do, it's not a villanelle. Um, I forgot what form this is. I love forms. I'm a poetry form hound. Pantoums, rondelles, rondeaus, and with repetitions. I love
Yeah.
alliteration and I love choruses. This is called A Cry in the Bog. Thank you, there.
Love the title.
Thank you. The depth of winter freezes heavy fog, or hallowed ground sequestered vacant sight. Blizzard blind the cry in pleading bog, still fraught, no eyes dare seek fair morning sprite. The depth of winter freezes heavy fog, neath hollowed ground sequestered vacant sight. 5 days of rising fought the men of Prague, still heart faded, passion drenched what's right. Hushed boulevard of ice, no panting dog, with pantomime speaks incantation to bite. When something wicked this way comes through fog, neath hallowed ground, sequestered vacant sight. Once dead, she rose from fern neath oak's black log. No man could breathe, but withered in her blight. Nazis fierce, their violent reach was broad, but up through temple lurked the evil sight. Blood chalice tainted, spicy swig of grog, cruel war it forced the history to rewrite. The depth of winter freezes heavy fog, neath hallowed ground sequestered vacant sight. From death she spit into the eye of Gog, for her good men their own true hearts they smite. A fall from grace she'll push back the love to flog, War's noose around the neck became too tight. The depth of winter freezes, heavy fog. These hallowed grounds, sequestered, vacant sight. Quick demons suffocate the minds and clog, broke hemorrhaged hearts that bleed upon smoke white. That's
Did
that
you
piece.
s- did you say you wrote that for a prompt?
Yeah.
Phenomenal,
Um,
phenomenal.
let's see. What was the prompt? The prompt was something wicked this way comes.
Wow. There was so many good lines in there too, like the depth of winter freezes heavy fog. And there was one when something wicked comes, and I missed the second part. When something wicked comes, and also another line: no man can breathe, but withered
Blight.
in her sight. Yeah, that's a beautiful
I think
line. But to write something for like to contrive such lines for a prompt, I mean, that speaks a great deal about you as a writer, Ash. That really does.
I think I may have watched like a World War II movie around the same time about somebody protecting art,
Yeah,
and a woman was involved, and the woman, I believe, seduced many of the men in efforts to try to help protect the art that was going to be stolen by the Nazis.
yeah,
And yeah, you know how
yeah.
your mind just keeps going and going. But yeah,
The I have a lot of respect for people who do write for prompts because I'm one of the I write on personal experience or my own thoughts or what I've witnessed. So when somebody can write such a profound piece based on a prompt, I have the total utmost respect for writers like that. That's that could well have been something that you personally experienced firsthand. You know, the depth of the lines that he used in that poem.
thank you. I have to tag the Society of Secretly Perfect Poets for the simple fact that Um, they have really gotten me into writing prompts. I've been part of that. Well, I think I was like the second member actually, and it
Mm.
started three years. Tommy was in that too. Caroline, I saw Caroline Creative. She also was in that group for a while, or no, is still in that group.
Mm.
I think Tommy may have dipped out to write one of his 3,000 books.
His fifth book has just come out or is about to be launched. Yeah, so I'll be
Talk
featuring
about
him in a
prolific.
few weeks too.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, he's very prolific, and I love his story. I cannot tell a story the way Tommy tells a story, which is good because you don't need a whole bunch of poets doing the same damn thing. Because what fun would that be? We could just put one thing on replay if that were the case.
Yeah.
But
Tommy just
I
said,
do.
Tommy just put in a comment saying he's a society dropout.
Yeah, society dropout. That's good. Yeah, there's a he's in very good company. I will tell you that. We I think we have gone anywhere from having 5 members at a time to 30 members at a time.
Yeah,
You only have to write once a month to stay in the group, but some of the prompts are quite challenging, and there's different levels. So it could be you have 5 words, the most basic level. Okay, write something, or it could be you have a half a paragraph. Now write this form from the perspective of this and have it this number of lines. And I mean, it can be as simple or as complicated as you desire to delve into. And
yeah,
that's what I like about that. And they've really helped strengthen the
yeah,
prompt writer in me.
yeah.
Absolutely. And there's
You,
just so many good prompts on Instagram.
yeah. You mentioned Caroline too. She's a sweet soul as well, and I love her writing and some of her work on her personal experiences and all that are just phenomenal writing.
Yeah, she writes prose like nobody's business. I can't write prose like Caroline writes prose.
Yes.
I'd like to someday. Maybe when I get a little more time behind my pen, but Till then, I'm just gonna be breaking that lead with the rhymes until the rhythm stops.
Oh, well, the pieces you recited, the cadence was phenomenal, and you could see the writing. It really suits um, a recital, you know.
Thanks. Let's see. I'm trying to find something else worth it.
Uh,
I keep like, scanning over things, going, yeah, yeah, yeah.
well, Tommy just said he was inspired to write quite a few poems in within that group, so you know, speaks highly of it.
Yes, yes,
So,
yes.
time, Ash, do you find enough time to write, given you know you're working in the medical field and so forth, and supporting
Well,
life?
I've been looking for a couple years. And even then, I'm the person who you would see at break writing. Because, like, say in the hospital or in a nursing home, you have so many pieces of paper that you print out for care plans, for medication records, now that everything's gone electronic. And so the waste of paper is absolutely ridiculous. And many places don't recycle, especially in the medical field, for fear of cross contamination, because people, with their gloves and they've got these stacks of paper.
Mm.
And so a lot of times, if I saw a stack of clean paper, I would grab it and sit in the break room, and I would spend my break time writing. When I was train hopping and traveling that way, I would write on paper bags, on receipts, on just anything I could find. If I could find a pen, I think once I found a Sharpie and spent the afternoon writing on concrete walls. Oh, vandalism.
You
There's all
are a
kinds of
rebel.
groups in Houston that had, poems written by me on the side by the side of the train tracks, and
Yeah.
I would just write on anything that I could.
Lotus Bloom Poetry just put in a comment saying that every piece they've heard from that you've written for Ram's workshops are absolute gold. So Nadia,
Thank
yeah.
you. I wondered who Lotus Bloom was. Okay.
I've actually heard a couple of your pieces because when most of the shows are hosted in the US, it's your night time, which is my following day in during work time. So I'm not always able to jump onto them, but on the occasions I have been able to jump onto Rams, Mosaic Mondays, or anything like that on some of those 8 minute prompts and so forth. I've absolutely loved what you do come up with in that short space of time too.
It's so much fun. And now that it's switched over to Zoom, I realize the accessibility has changed and not as many people come in, but it's so much more intimate because there might be six of us in the room and the six of us are having a conversation in real time.
Yep.
And that is just beautiful. And while I know when you host a show, seeing a double digit number up there across the screen is like, yay, people are coming in. But once you lose the intimacy, I think you lose some of the power
Mm,
behind being
mm,
written, especially on those timed pieces.
mm,
You
mm,
know, the and the performance of those timepieces. And
mm.
speaking of reading, oh, Nadia's reading. Oh, mm.
I
I
wasn't I wasn't aware that Mosaic Mondays and all had moved over to Zoom. So yeah.
yes, yes. Watch the stories, and it'll give the. Actually, the last one wasn't Zoom. It was, oh shoot, it's the search engine.
Google.
Thank you,
Google.
Google. Yes, yes. And but the same thing. It's same, nice, intimate, small crowd, and we can all discuss it. In fact, a lot
Yeah.
of people in this room have been there. I know Rhonda and Stephanie both, the Coughlin family, they've been in there. In fact, this last one, their son, their 12-year-old son was in there and blew us away.
Oh wow.
Oh my goodness gracious, the emotional intelligence. And yeah, everybody's like, you're how old? Oh, it's like, all right, everybody just throws their pens down and we're done. Oh, what a great thing. What a great thing to witness. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
To be part
yeah.
of that. It's just,
I love when kids sort of write because they don't have this hesitancy of self-consciousness. They just write what they feel, right? You know,
yes.
as adults we go, oh, should I write this? Well, how would people see this? How da da is this correct? Da da da. You have all these instead of letting it flow, we become our own roadblocks, you know.
Yes, we
Yeah.
absolutely do. They're more open. And it's just amazing to see some, most of us have lived this long and to see someone who's lived this long
Yeah.
to be able to pull some of the things out that are so profound. And you're like, how the hell? All right, all right. And what an inspiration. What an inspiration to push to be better.
Yeah, true, true.
Um, this one I am going to share is I don't oh crud. I forgot the guy who started it. In fact, he even turned it into a song. Oh, no, I can't think of it. There was like a whole thing, and there is many, 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 many pieces that have come from this. I've been writing these poems. I don't know if that sounds familiar to anybody. I can't think of the guy. Ah, gosh darn it. I wish I could. I would like to give him credit, but it exploded, and the pieces that I've seen and heard both in poetry and rap and song just have just been amazing.
Mm.
But the point was, I've been writing these poems. Let's see. Well, that doesn't start there. Um, Here we go. All right. I've been writing these poems to preserve my sanity. The same questions repeatedly plaguing me for damn near half a century. I've been writing these poems because the world weighs me down. I've been writing these poems to strip away and heal my own history. I write these poems for contorted governmental extortion. I write these poems to include the concept of inclusion. I've been writing these poems to mourn the illusion of democracy and that is somehow becoming a fallacy. I write these poems to explore the derivatives of diversion and diversity. I've been writing these poems for Black hoodies. I've been writing these poems against the hate of fags and rainbow flags. I write these poems to make sense of life around me as news keeps showing me the uglies. Doomsday prophecies coming true. I've been writing these poems on white paper with lines of red and blue. When I look up from the page, the lines get thicker, causing a greater divide. I write these poems in solidarity for every plight that is mine. I write these poems for the plight of every skin shade, both darker and lighter than mine. I've been writing these poems as an antibiotic. I need to push out every word in effort to find the way to be more cathartic. I've been writing these poems in scrawled plumes of jet stream smoke. I write these poems out of anger over hate, flooding details that smash their heads against the greater good, which shouldn't even be up for debate. I write these poems in search of a way to elevate every man, woman, and child. I write these poems to protect the voiceless exploited in the wild. I write the poems for sudden infant death. I write these poems for 9/11 responders who can't catch their breath. But sometimes the lines get away from me. Sometimes the lines get away from me. My vision blurs and I just can't see anything beyond my poetry. I write these poems because I can pick up my pen and wield it quicker than I can lift any sword. I've been writing these poems because I fear peace will never win an award.
What an ending line. I write these poems because I feel peace will never win an award. That is so true. That is so true. It's like we get bored with peaceful times and there's got to be something. And there was you address so many aspects. You address color in that piece. You address sexuality in that piece. And there was a line, I write these poems to elevate every man, woman, and child, I guess. I missed the last word. But, and that is the very essence and the very purpose of what we do as writers, right? We do it
Yes,
to elevate, to help, to support, to provide a pathway of infinite pathways.
give voices to the voiceless.
Yes, um, that touched so much, and again, that cadence was just faultless. You know, the way it was written for recital, it was faultless. Um,
You're very kind. It could have been so much better.
yeah. Then even the to heal my, I write poems to heal my sanity. You know, like so many things. You touched the purpose of why we should write. If we don't write for one of those reasons, then we should question ourselves, what are we writing for?
Right.
Sadly, as Danny recently put out a piece, often people put out pieces for the follows and the likes and the popularity, but you nail every reason why we should write and what should be the driving force behind our writing.
So I think we should, that's a question we should ask ourselves often,
Yep,
you
yep.
know.
Because if there is no, me personally, if there is no authenticity, it doesn't do much for me. It's that authenticity that, um, and that's what I love with your work, Ash. You know, even well, that one before that you wrote for a prompt, even you know the authenticity in that, even though it
Mm.
was triggered, initiated by a prompt. That speaks a lot about you as a person, and it speaks a lot about you as a writer. You know, and it's all credit because if we don't have authenticity, then what are we writing for? What are we writing about?
Yeah, what are we writing for?
Just to show our
Absolutely.
skills in our rhyme schemes, just to show our skills that we can pull out some words in our vocabulary that are impressive. What do we write for? If that's all we write for, then it's meaningless, right?
Right, absolutely. And it's, but that's easy to fall into.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I really like about Ram's workshop, because when I'm tired, especially when it was on Instagram and there was a whole bunch of people in the room and it was a really short time, it's so easy to just slam out a whole bunch of words that rhyme. You know, okay, a
Mm.
three syllable one here, one there, a four syllable word here, one there, alternate a couple times, gets a mid rhyme, and that's done. But Ram's workshop, we break it down. It's like, okay, well, all of that rhymed, that's nice, but what does it say?
Mm. Mm.
And I'm like, oh crap, I didn't say nothing. I didn't say a damn thing. All I did was scribble down some words that
Yeah.
fit together. And
100%. 100%. Yeah.
I love that, keeping writers accountable with for the
Yeah.
craft of itself.
Yeah.
That's,
Mm.
yeah. I just can't say, I can't say enough, and and I'm like shouting out to everybody here on Tag Ram, because Ram's been a big inspiration for me. That was the first live I was ever on.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and that's given me so much confidence to do my own, and I'm glad because I have fallen in love with cold reading. I
Yeah.
had no idea how much adrenaline was involved with cold reading.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
somebody gives you a piece and you hadn't laid eyes on it before, you want to do it right. And you get three lines into it, and this isn't sounding the way you think the person intended. How do you back up? How do you change your tone? How do you just erase an extra syllable you threw in there because you thought it sounded better, but it's not your piece, sister. Back up. Whoo,
Yeah.
that's that's some adrenaline to be able to give that person their respect. Yeah, I love it.
reading cold is an art on its own because when I on the alternate weeks to something more than gibberish when I do the poetry and vibes with Rainy and it's essentially DM reads unless somebody comes on screen and then you get somebody like Angela Sam who would like to throw some word that's from a corner of a dictionary that's never touched. Todd can tend to throw Todd from mid-age poetry can tend to throw some medical terms that only a nurse or a doctor would pronounce properly. And I'm reading those cold, and I'm going, "Oh, please, 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 Lord, help me to be able to get my tongue around this word."
I feel your pain there. I feel your pain. And I love reading Angela for that reason. In fact, for that reason, because I love words. I absolutely love words. And so for that reason, if I have a piece that's got some more complicated vocabulary in it, I will absolutely, with the quickness, throw it her way to read. And yes, I love that we have taught each other new words over the last couple years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's good stuff.
You're perfectly right, Rhonda. Rhonda is Coghlan family poetry, yes, correct? Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, Ram and Keneal create an absolutely amazing space. I've actually featured them a couple of times on this show, and yeah, they're just such beautiful souls. And they've been
Oh,
childhood
God.
friends, since
Isn't that crazy
yeah,
that they've been friends that long?
yeah,
Yeah, and it's so different. Yeah, when they do the DMs, I I'd like to send one to each just to hear the different take, the different read on it because they have such different styles.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So Rhonda, when I on the alternate weeks when I do my open mic. Feel free to come in and come up on screen and I'd love to hear your son 12-year-old read some of his work and it's an open platform to anybody on the alternate Friday. I'd love to hear and a pleasure to meet such a profound young man. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome to hear. That would be awesome.
Oh,
I did
speaking
not.
of which, Ash, my humble apologies. The last live that you were on and you were trying to get on, I did not even get a request come up on my screen for it, so I had no idea that you were trying to get on. My humble apologies for that. Instagram does do some weird things.
Oh, it does. It does. And hard saying, once my phone gets hot, it doesn't always agree with lives. It doesn't always. Um, so you're not opposed to the occasional swear word, right?
None at all. As I said, I'm just a vessel that hosts the show. I'm not precious with anything, any topic, any language, anything. Most people who know me socially, they say that I swear like a trooper. I cuss like a trooper, as you would guess.
Being an ex correctional nurse, I have been known to have a little bit of a mouth on me from time to time. I know words and how to use them, especially if they've only got about 4 to 6 letters.
That's
The case
interesting.
where it
So
has to be.
your career has spanned across quite a few domains, right? I mean, from being a correctional nurse to a mental illness sort of ward to aged care. That's phenomenal. That's quite a depth in nursing.
Nursing has been good to me. I started out in family practice and then, well, behavioral health while I was in nursing school, and then went to family practice, and then did corrections for 8 years,
Wow.
and then made a huge turn from a max facility with 2,000 men to pediatric respiratory.
Wow.
That was like a big. Do you know what B12 does to a person? Does for a person? They used to treat depression with it. I call that transition a B12 shot to the heart
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it was so different. And man, talk about having to watch your mouth because most of my little ones came straight from the NICU, so they
Wow.
were um, basically immobile for their first 9 to 11 months And then I got the joy of watching them learn to walk, watching them go through coming off of a ventilator and learning how to talk and watching them react to their own sounds for the first time.
Mm.
And so I definitely didn't want my little ones' first words to their parents to be swear words.
The,
Cute. They're hoping for mama and dada.
yeah. You
Well,
just
nurse Molly's
mentioned
here.
NICU. You mentioned NICU. I recently had a friend who had a child born with had reversi where all the organs are reversed. One in 50,000 people, and the care and the attention of the NICU nurses was phenomenal. And yeah, got so much respect for them. I mean, these children are infants and
They
they're
are
in critical
amazing.
stages. Yeah, so yeah.
And isn't
Absolutely.
that amazing? Only one in 50,000.
Yeah.
Only.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something, most people, most lay people have no concept of how often that happens, how often
Yeah.
things have to be reversed, or babies are born with no anus.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
happens a lot, and they have to build a new one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, it blows my mind to see um, a neonate, see a baby that's practically transparent,
Mm.
wrapped in plastic in their incubator and watch them grow. I mean, just it's
Mm.
phenomenal, just absolutely mind blowing.
Yeah.
It, yeah, I still can't find the beginning of this.
Certainly, but you can't have but respect for some of the phenomena that happens in the medical industry and how they turn people's lives around from, as you said, born without a vital organ, part of your body like your anus and or you know reverses.
Anything coming in or out,
Yeah. Yeah.
because you've got to get that nutrition other than just through a G tube, which most of them will have for the first year or two. But yeah, it's amazing. And I have known so many NICU nurses, and they're just incredible individuals. Yeah, and just incredible individuals. That is, yeah, I have a lot of respect for them. This next piece is called Standing, if I have it in the right order. I think I do. I think I've got it down. Um, Look, there are certain things which I remain aware that definitely could break a bit of which I remain aware that could break a dead man's stare. Don't get me wrong. But if you're taking notes, let's compare. I ain't trying to one up you, but I ain't scared to go there. I am not gentle about this. I am standing in the tree line yelling at God's bad ideas. The forest doesn't answer. I'm not surprised. In fact, I'm almost satisfied. I've never signed off on us either. Come 2026, I kiss the corpse of the year goodbye, not out of reverence, but because you don't turn your back on something that picks the scabs of your own name from your flesh. I mean, what I meant to say is this: you don't turn your back on something that you learned the hard fucking way. Look around. We continue the blueprints, building holy skyscrapers to laziness and glitz, still calling it progress? At least when nothing resists us, and one and the same, if anyone fights us, we pave over hunger. Then wonder why it comes back even meaner till something bites us. I am angry because I'm paying attention. I am hopeful because rage still means I haven't surrendered my hands. You want clean? Go talk to a travel agent, a home decorator, or read a brochure. I want honesty, splintered, loud, unfinished. I refuse the cozy, slipper, easy chair stance, the nodding off into silence. I refuse to believe the lie that says this is just how it is. I choose breath over comfort. I want to choose, I don't know what that word is. I want to choose peeling calluses over prayers so full of gravity that they never leave the room. A future that demands participation, not applause. So, yes, I am yelling into the forest, not because I expect forgiveness, but because the trees are still standing, and someone has to remember what standing fucking sounds like. Yeah, exactly.
So true, so true. The trees just stand there. They wither every type of weather,
They precede
and
us.
it always amazes me to see how some trees grow from cliff faces along the coastline, battered with salt air. There's no
Really?
roots
Yeah,
in this rock system for them to even, but they still get nutrition from the wind, from the salt air, and they survive and thrive. Yeah,
and thrive. Absolutely. What lessons can we learn from that? I mean, that just is amazing to me.
100%.
And the
Doesn't
the
matter what the weather.
craggier and uglier that tree is, you know, the tougher it is.
Yeah. They
Yeah,
just stand tall, irrespective of what, whether hail, wind, or snow, or sun. It just stands tall through it all. Yeah.
right.
Now you are a nature lover. I know you like walking through forests and tree lines and giving the tree an occasional hug and so forth. You do. No doubt you write quite a few pieces inspired by nature.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I would have to say so. Now, did I put them separately? No, but um, huh, doesn't matter what I
Well,
thought.
your work is certainly respected by many, Ash. The number of people that I've known for a while, like Amy from Ultramarine Poetry, is just um, popped in as well. There's been many amazing and well-known poets here who are quite active on this on Instagram as well, who've been coming in and out of the room. Your work is really well respected, Ash, and it's an absolute honour to be able to feature you on this show and share your work and showcase your work. Um,
It's an honor to be here.
and thank you. And as you know, I create also YouTube's and Spotify podcasts and all that. So I'm so glad to be able to showcase you to a wider community around the globe than our Instagram community, because you don't know, on YouTube, different countries, that's a more popular platform. So hopefully people do come across your work in different corners of the world, and because I think your work is has a lot to be said about your work and respected.
Thanks. Thanks. Can I mute? Maybe not. No, this is not my live. I cannot mute myself. Or can I? Wait.
Yeah, you can mute yourself.
Um, oh, there we go. All right. Because I'm going to use my other phone, and my other phone talks to me as I type. Well, it's not the piece I was looking for, but it's another thing I can read. And here, if this was my live, I'd say, "Welcome to Ash's live, where she plays with her phone for 5 minutes in front of everyone." I do. I probably say something to that effect every couple minutes during my lives because I'm so tech dumb, and it doesn't seem to bother me. You would think I would get embarrassed. I
It
don't.
it is
I
great to
don't.
see you doing your own lives too. Unfortunately, as I said, it's during my workday, but I must make. I hope I get the opportunity to pop in and yeah, at least listen, even if I can't join in if I'm at work. But yeah, I'm great to see you actually featuring the open mic sessions and so forth.
It's been a joy. I've gotten to know some poets that were new to me,
Yeah.
and that's, oh, it's so much fun. Yeah, and I will be doing more. And because of the help of my tribe, I will be getting a second device here soon. And so you'll probably get tired of this mug because I'll be on here all the time because I ain't got nothing better to do than to read poetry. Yeah. What a horrible life.
Half your
Gosh,
luck.
I know. I'm so fortunate. I'm so fortunate. This one is called, you know what? I'm going to skip the preamble. Yeah, this one's called Slow Pour. As we transition into winter weather, often there is another reemergence, merely in the act of gathering together. Inhale, within reason, every unimportant detail, reducing reactions down to scale. Guard your fingers between gift wrap paper cuts and trying family fisticuffs. We tie up schedules and bows. Personally, I never quite perfected the bunny ears when attempting to get a simple ribbon just right, see. These stubby fingers aren't as nimble as they used to be. Too short to be long, too fat to be thin. And I gotta confide, they're not with much pride. My fingers, just like me, rarely fit comfortably in holes of three. Now, wait, before your mind goes the way of the gutter, let me tell you a little bit about me. I am a blind bowler. No striped pin nor inky pen falls at random or unexpected tandem, nor do these thoughts and lines remain in any folder. Breath is just a poorly timed placeholder. Perhaps I could be bolder. I am a realist with a penchant for fiction, so feel free to debate my addiction to diction. You want a New Year's resolution or a New Year's prediction? In every situation, I'll get caught up because life's amazing, gazing past the haunt of cloud's benediction, memorizing cauterized shrouds hanging above both historical divides and rhetorical walls that shake and collide. Picture Picture this. The presidential portraits, peeling away with their own pride, tearing themselves into confetti, ready to litter Pennsylvania Avenue. Or maybe they're more like Hansel and Gretel's breadcrumb glitter. Gravity's a heavy hitter, trying desperately to drop clues. The universe sings her blues, teaching us how to train our own tongues to swallow pride. See the slapping of boots on the ground and screams outside. Screams outside somehow sound distant and hollow now. This particular variety of sobriety collects its dues as we howl, shunning notoriety. Does the thought make you sweat? Quick, think fast. I'll toss you a towel. Or better yet, hand me a sharpened trowel to perform surgical introspection expressed in decibels of manifestation. This new form of progress or manufactured destination cracks before it hardens. We've all seen the facts fall following the pardons. Insurrection still smolders, a painfully slow pour. Hands are cut off at the knees, both of the rich and the poor. How incredible is this sound of an empty crucible echoing negative air, but how credible it is that we were always destined to remain unaware.
The potency of that, some very profound sentiments scattered right through that piece, Ash. And I love how you can switch scenes and yet it seems so natural. Like 1 minute I'm in Pennsylvania Avenue, next minute I'm in Hansel and Gretel's, with the very next breath I'm in Hansel and Gretel's breadcrumbs. That's so smoothly done, right?
Thanks. That's the fun of it, isn't it?
Yes, yes,
You can say whatever you want.
exactly. But you say it in such a logical and sane way as well, and yet you're beneath your lines, beneath the rhyme, you still have the power of that, such powerful sentiments layered within the lines. That's the gift of a good writer.
Or the gift of a loose association.
and and also uh, for you to it also a very profound persona within you as well, like I've seen so many people, they keep falling over the same hole, pick themselves up and keep walking, they learn nothing from it. But it take a wise, a profound person can sit back, look at something, and learn from it, and absorb and digest and form a good perspective on life. And you do that so well through your
Well, I think
experiences in the medical field, life experiences, your own health issues, and so forth. You can pick up and you learn from each trial and tribulation, and that to me, that's to me, the very purpose of life.
it is, and that's very kind of you to say. But I will admit to, stubbing my toe 3 or 4 times on the same rock. But eventually I learned to step over it.
There
It
you
just takes
go.
care.
The fact that we learn and we absorb and we digest and we keep, and then as a writer, that you can write about it to share that with others. That's the perfect journey.
Once again, that's what poetry is all about.
Yes.
Absolutely. Oh, here's a work related. Well, it was. I did not do very good with my page breaks. Um, huh. There's 8. There's 7. Yeah, I numbered my pages. What happened to 9? Let's see how this goes. This is called These Hands. All that is left in these hands are lines. These hands have mourned many a splinter. These hands have held on for dear life and let go of lives so dear. These hands have felt the cracking of ribs compressing until blood moves through a heart on its own accord. These hands have tenderly washed the expired body of tape and waste. Once there was life no more. These hands have spilled whiskey and absorbed smoke. These hands have known fire. These hands have received paper cuts too many to count from feverish nights of shuffling poetry filled thoughts, soaks, and tears. These hands have loved but never fought. I leave that for my mouth. These hands have gripped thousands and thousands of miles on bikes and in cars. I pray these hands will never fail me, although all they have to show for their hard work are lines and scars.
Yes. Worn many a splinter. Yeah. And as you said, we eat, we wash, we clean, we work, we do everything with our hands.
Everything.
And as you get to the sunset years, all you see is scars.
Yeah. Scars and calluses.
Yeah.
And as a nurse, through the winter, most of us, they're cracked and they bleed all winter long.
Yeah.
All winter long. You have to take care of your hand. You have to use a good moisturizer because between the hand sanitizer and the gloves, even if you don't do anything but work through that season, still your hands they take a beating. They really, really do.
Yeah. You again, that really speaks to how you can write to such a diverse genre or topics. Like, who would think about writing about the journey of a hand, right?
Somebody who holds a pen.
Yeah, there you
Or
go.
somebody who recently split their finger. I recently split my finger to about this knuckle. Um, I think it's been maybe 8 weeks. Yeah, like part of my finger was hanging off.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I pay close attention to my hands. I can't wait to be fingerprinted because I'll have a like a lightning strike. I have a lightning bolt now on my fingerprint. I'm
You
gonna have to
keep
go out and have some trouble.
if you keep scribbling your poetry and all on railway tracks, you probably will need to get fingerprinted.
Right. Oh, I wish I wasn't too old to do that. What a way to live. What a way to experience humanity. Oh, I had some of my best experiences. and met some of the most humble people and the most generous people
Yeah.
doing that. Yeah. That's how I came to Alabama in the southeastern US, was by train hopping.
Right. So Alabama is home?
Yes, since 99.
Right.
Since 99, since I got off a train that quit moving and found myself in a field right outside of a small town, small mountain town called Talladega, which is a huge, I had no idea, it's a huge race car town. There's a big track not far from it, but I didn't come from a family who followed it, so I had no idea that that's where I was. All I saw was a beautiful mountain town.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it was great. It was my first taste of Southern hospitality. I was walking down this downtown. I was so sunburnt, my eyelids had blisters.
Oh,
I
wow.
was so sunburnt. And this little old lady in her 80s, she stopped me and she said, "Honey, where you going?" And I had this big black canvas bag with all my stuff in it. And she offered me a drink. We went into the courthouse. She gave me a sandwich. And before the afternoon was over, she had me working on her ranch with her granddaughter.
Oh,
And
wow.
I was there for like a month. And they bought me a bus ticket to go to my next destination. Yeah, that was incredible. Come to find out, she was the first female attorney in that county.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was such a great experience.
Yeah.
Such a great experience.
So where was your childhood? Which part of the States did you grow up? Or
I grew up in the Midwest. I grew up in the state that's had the primaries up until recently. I grew up in Iowa.
oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, which is a good place. It's smack dab in the middle, so you get influences from, northeast, southwest, and yeah, I think it was a good place to grow up as far as
Mm,
being even keeled in your opinions and how you viewed other people.
mm, mm,
I
mm.
really did. Let's see, that one's done. So throw that one away. This stack of paper. Oh, it's gonna be good physical therapy to go through and clean it all up later. I might have to have one of the neighbors' kids come over. Come over and I'll make you a sandwich. Yeah, I really do things like that. I'm cool, Aunt Mel.
That's
Come over and I'll give you a popsicle. I ain't got no money, but I'll get you snacks if you help me clean up the yard.
that's so good.
It's kids are fun. There's nothing better. There's just nothing
True.
better than seeing the perspective of a child.
100%. I
It's the
love
most
the
honest
innocent,
thing.
you know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, not always innocent, but at least very honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because with the internet, they are becoming less and less innocent. Let me
True.
tell you,
Very true.
frightening. Now speaking of, let's see. Um, and this one was a prompt by, let's see, which name should I use? Let's say moot supplication. She had listed a prompt called "How many sins fit in a mouth?"
Wow, that's a amazing prompt.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Well, a little backstory. I have the coolest book, and it is full of letters from my great grandfather to his wife during the Civil War. He was a
Oh,
surgeon for the Union, and I did this as a open mic piece, and I start out actually with a passage from the book, but yeah, yeah, and it talks a lot about that and being in the South. Anyway, red clay dries neath August heat, just right for Tuesday's masking. This weight of earth near incomplete lobotomizes the facade. Rooster feathers suited sheet, a bit tight for the tasking. Now fodder sweet, we throw out the richest of marked down meats to philosophize new gods. Cotton swaddled, sinking south, leaves no room for surprises. How many sins fit in a mouth before sun finally rises? Thief, a watercolored blend, and oil seeps through pages. Sleep, blind eye covered, the herd gets lost, spoon-fed more to swallow. Disbelief grows unaware in self-appointed sages. Peace, a trigger finger loss, fades to sketch a new motto. Cotton swaddled, sinking south, leaves no room for surprises. But how many sins fit in a mouth before the season finally rises? Can I offer you a reason? My brain just shut down. I just absolutely went blank. I just looked at the page and there was nothing on it. I'm so sorry.
No, you're
Ooh.
right. Don't apologize, please.
That is great. Wow. Oh, we're going to go on to a different piece because I'm not going to overdo it. Well, thank you very much. Welcome to Rainier's Live, where he hosts.
Ash, as I said before, your health is what's important. So please do call it out if you're stressing your health in any form or manner. We've been going for 1.5 hours, so you've done really, really well.
Wow, absolutely. I'm proud of myself. I will admit that.
You should be. You should be proud of yourself for even going ahead with the show, given your recent episodes. So,
Um, let's see. There is um no, you know what? I can pick this up. Yeah, cotton swaddled, sinking south leaves no room for surprises. But how many sins fit in a mouth before the new season rises? You ask me for reasons. As you shake your head in doubt, I hear you ask why we don't simply just spit it all out. You want me to offer reasons for misuse? Can I even offer you a reason for misappropriation? What if I offered up more than worn out refuse? Perhaps if I twisted my voice into a sound that resembles explanation. Instead, I bleed a truth from a mouth gone dry and barter in lies with a half split tongue. Now, are you willing to listen closely as I justify every shadow of a hymn I've ever unsafely sung? Let me speak in smoke and echo. Near the lip of the pit I claim as mine. Can I then name each sin without drawing near to the root that pulses beneath my spine? As we blame the dark deemed to dance us blind, I am willing to lead in the masquerade. With each stolen spark meant for us to find, I'd light whole worlds just to let you watch them fade. Can I beg with these hands that once betrayed, offering gold spun out of grief and ash? Then would it count if the toll was already paid and piles of broken vanity mirrors from fits during a fever flash? I offer you my ruin, wrapped in grace, with a big bow of bones and red confession. Would you still look past each hollowed face through to the heart that beats behind repression? Can I offer you a reason? Maybe two. But none will turn hate toward light. The only truth I hold is this: since I stepped out from the dark, the path felt right. Because power don't flinch when it's fed on pain, and the flag still flies over a field of graves. The system grins wide with laughter, roaring from a capitalist brain, all while it grinds the poor and calls them slaves. Because we privatize what we stole by war, then cut off the hands that dare steal it back. We preach of peace and build one more goddamn drone for a desert attack. Because empire thrives on a practiced lie, painted red, white, and blue, and bled bone dry. So if you're asking what my reasons are, my answer comes to you echoing the voice of the dying star. I am the question this nation deflects. We are all the question this nation deflects. It's not why I broke, but who it protects.
We are all the question why this nation defects. So true. That line, piles of broken vanity mirrors. What a profound statement that is. The bane of our existence, the bane of the hurdle that we each need to rise to progress in our life's journey, on our soul's journey. Vanity, yes. But trials and tribulations have a good way of being able to smash that mirror of
Man,
vanity, hasn't it?
pieces. And then we can make a mosaic.
Yes, 100%. And the other line that really grabbed me, turn hate towards light. If only we can do that
Mm. And we could move mountains if we
consistently,
could.
unanimously, and consistently, there would not be any wars, right? There would not be any. We'd be there for each other. We're not against each other, but we won't be competing. We won't the issues of jealousy, of
Mm.
failure, the need to compete. None of it would exist.
Well, it's like, and I'm not a history or poli sci expert, so anyone can correct me, and I'm sure they would if they had the opportunity. But the concept of communism,
Mm.
what a perfect idea. What a perfect idea if something in human nature didn't say, I have to be the boss.
Mm.
I have to micromanage. I have to tell everyone to do. Oh, we have to look to someone to tell us what to do. If we truly could all on the same plane act,
Mm. Mm.
how amazing would life be?
Yep. Yep. And unfortunately, the only reason that it didn't work successfully because somewhere, along the line, somebody had to, be it communism in Russia, be it in China, somewhere somebody had to say, I
Yeah.
need greed. Their own greed is why the whole philosophy failed. The whole ideology failed. Right?
And yeah, we just we can't seem to make it work. And even in smaller groups, we have, communes here and there.
Yeah.
They're only successful for a number of years
Yeah.
because eventually someone keeps too much, or someone wants to dictate too much, or finds a different value in whatever they're producing and wants to hoard it and not continue to disperse it amongst the workers. We just don't seem to be able to pull it off in our species. We
Mm.
we just don't seem to have the capacity to work that way. Um,
And
which
you
gets me
nail
going.
that right in that, vanity mirror, vanity is mirror, right? That's the very sole reason, right? Because
Yep,
we've got to see ourselves as more important than our brother or sister next to us.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Ash, again, the depth of that piece, the power of the underlying messages that we should all reflect on them, ask ourselves, meditate on, all that from a prompt.
It was a damn good prompt.
Yeah, but nevertheless, to write to where your mind goes, you grab that initiative, that trigger, that prompt, and then your mind just goes and you associate it to the depth, to the intricacies, to the philosophies, the ideologies of life itself, of as the human journey.
Well,
That's
that's all I know since I've been human my whole life.
that's a that honestly I cannot say it over and over again, speaks so much to your talents as a writer, and speaks, which is probably more important to me, speaks so much about Ash, the person within, the authenticity of you, how you think, what you get out of this life's journey. I know people who've traveled through life's journey from birth to death and literally never seem to develop
Mm,
within at all.
I'm
And
rich,
then
bro.
I meet somebody like you, you've gleaned so much of the true values in the human journey. And it's an absolute honor to meet somebody like you. It really is.
Well, thank you. It's been an honor to watch people live and die,
Mm, mm.
and that changes a person, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ash, as I say to all my featured guests, this is only the first time, and it doesn't have to be the last time. Whenever you've got something happening, whenever you want to come, there's always an open door here. Because honestly, there's not one piece that you've recited today, or there's not 1 minute of conversation that I've had with you today that hasn't carried weight, that hasn't carried a gift to somebody out there struggling. And that is the whole purpose of the show, right?
Look at the poet speak. Listen to you. I love it. You
Yeah.
are poetry, my friend.
No, I really mean it. It really is because I do this. Honestly, it takes me quite a bit of time with following up, getting all the material, creating the flyers, and I only handpick my guests as well, right? My featured guests. And then after the show, the subsequent YouTube, all that takes time. But it's a pleasure to be able to do that for this reason when I can showcase people like yourself, writers like yourself on a global platform. It's worth the effort. It really is. It's a pleasure, actually.
About you. I love that about you. And hopefully one of these days, if I ever get the the blank, 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 I don't know the words that I want to use, to actually get a book done. I know I have the stuff. I mean, I've got, I probably have enough pieces of paper on the floor right now. I could just tape them together and call it a day.
I think you've not only got plenty of content, I think you got content of value, content of substance, content that's people should read if given the chance. And if you don't know where to start, Danny White, who's featuring next in 2 weeks' time, he does a lot to. He's got about 9 books of his own, but he helps so many people on that journey of writing, on how to get that their work published, and
That's
he gets a. Not only does he willingly help people with that, as he himself said when he featured a few months ago, he said it's a real. He gets um, a really great feeling, sensation of value too in doing that. You know, it brings him just as much joy in helping people, and he's a remarkable character as well. So look, there's a point of contact that and he'll do it selflessly as well.
that's so cool. That's so cool. All right, time for the phone to go on ice, I think.
Start
Maybe.
to heat up.
Oh yeah, I have a Pixel and these pixels get hot, hot, hot. But I've come up with a little, there we go. You're looking at my ceiling. That'll be fine. But yeah, I've done this enough times now. I've figured out how I can. I've got an ice pack that I've wrapped in an ace bandage to keep my phone from getting wet. Where there's a will, there's a way, brother.
That always is, always is.
There's always. Oh man. Um, let's see. This one is called Tapped Out. Let's see. Make sure I got. Do I get it to the end? Okay. The new piece of gum needs to go out. Um. All right. You don't need to see me spit my gum out. Xylitol is the best thing in the world for helping your mouth not be dry. Just don't give it to your dogs and cats. All right. You know, these days, often regardless of the service, it's not paper we sign, we tap to purchase. both in and out of the checkout line. But if you feel yourself tapped out, starting to check out, that's not fine. Because the world around us, folks just like us, are tapping out as we stand by giving consent, by co signing the concept of staying too quiet. Whether it be a new grin we don't buy or an old sin popping up again and again that we let fly, the most dangerous response, what this corrupted government wants, is a riot quietly disguised. Its guise is lies feeding on you, suggesting a diet of silence. Complicity is not just going with the flow, it's an anti headline. Complicity hides behind the lines, in the shrug, nah, man, that issue's not mine. When we choose the more comfortable choice, we lose the power of our own voice by pretending things are fine. Now is not the time for sliding by when the words that crawl up and down your spine make you sick. This is not the time for withdrawal, although it's a preferential dialogue. It's also a societal trick. Don't be dismissive. Listen. Instead of sitting in doubt, try to hear me out. Listen. We're not locked down in that shrug. We're not cursed to rehearse the history with our backs being pushed up against the wall, but to the point that it hurts. Every shaky word is a matchstick. Every stumble that ends in stillness is a possible spark of conflict. Every no cuts a hole, trying to change your heart and mind and soul. Every closed mouth is a green light to let evil in. Listen. This isn't a sermon, it's a summons. Listen. It's not a judgment, but a call to action. Listen. If you feel that bass drum beating out your chest, it's your conscious body reminding you that silence isn't the only local dialect, because you already know. You know that courage catches quicker than a rumor, runs faster than lies. Flying hand to hand, head to head, up, till the whole room rises. So when that moment arises, and it will, don't be the silence. Don't echo the shrug. Be the break, be the quake, be the message that tugs, be the voice that takes charge of today's most imperative moment. You are the most important person in the remake of this politically poisoned climate, but you have to have the courage to own it.
Mm. A closed mouth is a green light to let evil in. So true. So true. We can sit by, watch, we can complain in our heads, we can complain to a friend, but do nothing about it.
Right.
Yeah.
We are so complicit. And I can never say enough about that.
Mm.
It's, and I'm sure anybody who reads anything that I write, that's a theme that I just continuously run with, because there's so much complicity.
Mm.
And I want, part of me wants to say it's nobody's fault, because what can we do? I mean, often some of the things that are in the headlines here, at least here in the States, say when ICE first came on the scene, who would dare intervene?
Mm.
They're taking their own lives in their hands if they try to speak up, if they're trying to protect, their fellow citizen.
Mm.
So, do you believe enough in what you think
Mm.
to give your life for a stranger, just because you're seeing someone being treated poorly, somebody being abused because of somebody being given power?
Mm. Mm.
The complicity is, it's more than just turning your head. It's a tool to keep yourself safe, and it's hard to be judgmental when it comes on that level,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Yeah. The and it's funny too, like here in we're a very liberal society. I mean, people say what the hell they see and what they do. We just have no care if we've offended people's feelings, or in the sense in a bad way, like who we criticize, especially when with injustice. If seeing somebody being unfairly treated, we'll speak our minds. But I recently, in a discussion with a close friend of mine, who's very supportive of this show. She was saying, like for example, here if I went to a restaurant and I had bad service, small businesses are very focused on good reviews on social media because here you get a bad review, they may as well close their doors because the place will be boycotted. Now, she was saying in her nation, people get locked up. Say they go to a restaurant, have a bad experience, and they put a negative review. Next thing they got the police knocking on their door. I mean, I thought, what a crazy society in this day and age that you can't.
Yeah.
You know, you give bad service, then you damn well accept, or you deliver a bad meal, you deliver a bad product, then you just sit there and accept the criticism because you put it out there, you caused it yourself.
Wow.
If I went to a place, I don't bargain for, if they say this is $50, I don't say give it to me for 49. But when I give that $50, I expect that $50 what I think I'm buying. And if I get anything less, Lord, lo and behold, I'm a pretty rude person, you know. Um, so yeah, it's crazy that there is communities, there's nations where they can't even speak out.
That's, yeah, that's so sad and scary
Yeah. Now that
because
piece,
the fact that it's perpetuated.
the content in that piece too, I found it, if somebody read it and digested it and reflected on it, it can be quite empowering. It can really give you that nudge to not be so complicit, to actually take action, to speak your words. It's very empowering, that piece, the way, you know, as I said, every piece of yours, there's depth to it. There's a so much
Trying to remember
value in
what I
your.
wrote it. Yeah, I know there's a reason I wrote it. I'm just trying to remember what it was.
Mm, mm.
I don't remember. I should start doing that. I should write like at the bottom of what I write. Because I do that with Instagram. If I post a post, in your caption, you have the opportunity to write what inspired you. I might have to start doing that in my notebook.
Yeah, yeah. This now we've got about just over 10 minutes, so we've probably got time for a closing piece and our goodbyes. You've been going for hour and 50 minutes. We're nearly at 2 hours. Well done.
Wow. Wow. I didn't think I'd last all night.
There you go. The time flies when you're having fun, and it really
True.
has been a pleasure, Ash. It really has been.
This
Uh,
has been fun. Thank you for making it so easy.
I have been so enriched by the conversations and by your pieces you've recited. It really has been a treat. You wanted the
Hmm.
platform. You really have.
Trying to think, do I do a nice little love piece or do I do something else? Something sweet. You know what? I, I, I have this piece that I wrote and then I deleted it and freaked out. Like I went back and like all my messages, I know I read it to somebody, and so I was like listening to all the messages, and finally I found it, and so I was listening to it over and over to be able to write it down. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. It's gonna require another. I should have got mints instead of gum, but this works so well. It does. You have to bite into it a few times. So once you do, then I had to like be careful not to drool. Talk about polarizing. Cute, cute, cute. Um, this next one is kind of describing what I went through in my head when so I went to the hospital. My wife had taken me to the hospital because I was confused,
Mm,
and so while I was there, I actually found out that I had had a stroke 3 weeks prior to, and then while I was there, had another one.
damn.
and I was very well aware something was going on. And then one minute I was, bullshitting with one of the nurses because, there's camaraderie there.
Mm,
And, so we were just like literally just bullshitting. And then the next minute she came in and I saw confusion on her face. And I wanted to ask what was wrong, but she was asking me what was wrong. And I couldn't, like you talked about, I couldn't form my mouth in a way to make words come out that made sense. All I heard was rah, 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 and I'm thinking that's not me talking.
mm,
So
mm,
this kind of describes that moment.
mm.
It's called breaking barometric. Lungs like a storm balloon, inflate way past what breath assumes. Gasoline sips once siphoned from this child, who chooses now to remain mild, but never small. Time's outgrown fear, never spreading beyond the bricked up firewall. Plumes rise to the sky that turns from blue to gray, synaptic sparks, the guts to stay. Steady voice. Once soothing silence lifts to a shrug, tonight thunders before lightning even imagines being tugged. No one's asking for hugs. My hands may shake, but I won't take the bait or cower to a cortisol quake. Core cortex cutting context like a fucking toothache. Not falling victim to this long list of hints, these dissonant hisses that threaten to hiss, putting me back into this position as pupils flare. Fight or flight. I drop the armor I chose to fight. I'll fight all night. I didn't plan on the pressure drop. It just suddenly slipped off beat with heart rate's threat to stop. Words uncaged, ignited fast the momentum's heat. You took, she said. The vowels run like hail run through my head, impact sharply cathartic. Compared to my rage and lobes frontal, meanings pale the charade where memory turns globe disgruntled. Blink fast, clearing eyes, through the gale, pushing cardiac to fail, bleeding the fossils, fury stored up for years, hemorrhaging now held back tears, and yet, amidst the lightning's call, I found my volume, most of all, a siren pitch I thought was lost in childhood's freeze, in trauma's frost. My voice is not a fragile thing, but atmosphere and gust and wing. It fractures clouds and floods the plains. It knows how to tell my pain. And as I speak, the weather clears, the body's flood banks re-engineer. Adrenaline surge, then dopamine, the calm that follows the unseen. I left it standing in a room, a relic bound not to bloom. My pulse realigned, my breath repaced, a system shocked but not erased. I breathe in the cooling air, a first survivor of this layer. My voice, a barometric sign, storm spoken whole, and finally, mine.
It's a heartfelt piece, and thank you for sharing that. It's amazing that you could capture what you were feeling inside and put it in terms of reality. Like a stroke's pretty major event to happen, right? And to have two, three in a short time. And honestly, it's absolute kudos to you for, as I said, going ahead with the show and surviving 2 hours. And I just saw your comment before that you were nervous as well about this. Nothing to be nervous about being on my shows, trust me, because there's you'd have to do something really bad to upset me, or so. Ash, you've been absolutely phenomenal, and I've got to shout out to Daisy. You've been here right through the whole show. Rhonda, Nadia, and Jeannie Sargent. You guys are troopers. You've been here, and as I always say, it's hard for the featured guests to give off themselves without the support of the room, and you guys have been troopers. You really have. Otherwise, it's like you standing there just talking to a wall, right? You can only say so much. But you, Rhonda, Nadia, you guys have been just phenomenal. Um, and like I know for Daisy, where it's 3 a.m. in the morning, and she's been here right through the whole show. She sets an alarm
Wow.
and wakes up to support the show, week in, week out. Every show, every 2 weeks, she's there. So Rhonda, when I do have the other open mic, definitely love to have the meet your son there as well, and so. Really lovely to meet you, Rhonda and Nadia, and Cricket's Tula. Thank you too. You've been a trooper here as well, been here right through the show. I don't know your first name, so I'll say Crickets underscore Tula. I assume it's Tula, is it? Or unless it stands for tulips, but I assume your name is Tula. Thank you, and thank you for your support is most welcome right through. And
I appreciate everybody here.
I cannot speak highly enough of what you've done for this platform today, and what an honor you have given me in getting to know more of you, Ash, the person, not just the poet. And your poetry, wow, every piece you recited has been a treat, has been a good reminder on the true virtues and the values of life's journey, and how helpful your words can be to help people who are stuck behind a rock. Um,
Appreciate the space.
oh, it's only, as I said, it's the first time, not the last time. So, Ash, this door is always open to you, and you just reach out to me. I'm booked up for the rest of this year, but I've already started taking bookings from the 15th of January onwards. So
Wow.
I've got pretty much all the slots between now and the 12th of December is when I have the Goodbye 2026 show. Sorry, I
Wow.
tell a lie. The 11th of December, that's a Friday night. So, Ash, please keep that if you're free. What I do at the Goodbye 2026 show, or 25 every year, what I do is I invite all the guests who featured through the year to come and share a piece or two, have a laugh, wish everybody for the festive
Cool.
season. So 11th of December is when that show will be, and I will put out a flyer, and that your name and all will be on it as well. So yeah, if you are busy and available, that'd be awesome to see you, and farewell this year. Um,
Awesome.
but thank you, and as I said, it's not the last time, so we'll do this again, because it the conversations with you and all has been phenomenal.
This
When I
has been
post
fun.
this, I'll add you as a collaborator, and when I create over the next week, when I create the YouTube and the Spotify, I might even do it tomorrow if I get time, and I will share those links with you. They are yours. You can use them any which way you like. The Spotify links, the YouTube link, and so forth. It's your show. It's all about you. So it's you can use it in any way you like to promote your work, anything.
Awesome.
Um, Heartfelt thanks, and from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And you will be in my thoughts and prayers, Ash, for that your health will fully recover and let you go on, because the world needs your pen. The world needs you.
Thank you, Rainier, for having me. This has been a joy. It really has been.
Absolute pleasure. Absolute honor. Really is. Stay safe, Ash, and God bless. Divine blessings to you, my friend, and stay safe.
All right. Peace out.
Peace.